Hi guys, and welcome to another video from the Lookout. My name is Andrea, and I'm happy to do this deck profile because with this deck, this Mecha Frieza Resurrected Monarch, I played in the last weekend's TCG Collectibles Extravaganza. I made it to top 8, and I'll talk about the deck today and how I did. But let's hear from our sponsor first.
Card Market is Europe's largest platform for all TCGs. Always find the right cards by buying and selling them across Europe with other players and collectors. Be it singles, boosters, booster boxes, or any other accessories, you name it. Card Market is the place to get them safely, securely, and readily available.
So definitely a very exciting weekend behind us. We had altogether 48 players in the TCG Collectibles Extravaganza. So a 48-player tournament, which ended up being 5 rounds of Swizz. Was supposed to be 6, but we had an undefeated player. So it was basically cut after the 5th round, which came to as a total surprise to me because I had 3 wins and 1 draw and 1 loss at that time. So a friend of mine on a different Discord channel just told me, "Look, it's done." I was like, "Really? Oh, wow! Damn it! I made it top 8. Jesus, it happened." And I'm really happy that I can share my experience with you guys today because I love this deck. So ever since I saw that they are going to reprint Mecha Frieza, I mean, this was just gonna be like maybe, well, I'll say it's super broken. But there are of course some very hard counters to it. But I'm gonna guide you through how I played against many decks in this tournament. Also 2 mirror matches. So I think that's important for you guys to know. But I mean, this is nothing new. I'm just gonna tell how I play the deck. So you can see on the screen that this build actually has, of course, 1 called Bloodlust, no explanation needed. But I play 4 Nimbus. And I decided to go with 4 because we are in a super aggro format, and you can basically play this card for free with Mecha Frieza when you're on your awakened side, even on your front side. But then it has to be your only extra card in the on that turn. But well, most of your deck is yellow, so you'll always have a yellow card to pitch, and it's always good to have an extra Nimbus just in case. You have 2 Planet Vegetas to search whatever you need in the deck. I'll tell you later why. It also comes in for free if you want to pay a life. 2 Tyrannical Blow, only against certain matchups, but also helps when people can just drop a Piccolo on the board. Well, it comes in without skills, so the red green Piccolo. I decided to go with 3 Vegeta's Final Flash. I didn't have the 4th, but I didn't see the need to go with 4. Also having 2 Tyrannical Blow to negate skills, also having Cold Bloodlust. I think Vegeta Final Flash keeping it at 3 is just enough. You will see later why, because you need battle cards to actually play the deck with, not only extra cards. So Universe 9 assemble. Of course you need 4. You need to get your Universe 9 guys on the field. You need to draw cards, and basically you can, well, by taking a life, you draw 2 cards, take a life, and you can play the Basil, and you even draw a 4th card if he comes into play successfully. I play 2 Hidden Power Supreme Kai, well, finishing games with a double strike. That's what I've been doing in this tournament as well. I play only 3 Bardock Apes. I didn't find the room for the 4th, but whenever I needed it, I saw it. If I didn't see it, I searched it with Planet Vegeta, amazing card to push through. I decided for 4 Bergamo because I think it's the strongest combination going in, because you play many different extra cards on your opponent's turn, and when you do that, you can tap some like a battle card that they have, and basically he comes in for 2 energy. So you should always have 2 energy open so you can play this guy. Also comes in very great combination with the Master Sacred Disbelief and Chapel the Iron Drake. I play 4 Chapils because you want to have him as early as possible on your board. He will allow you that your opponent will be very reluctant to attack. So he will actually be playing the battle cards first, and if he does that, well, basically you are either cold bloodlusted, you you Tyrannical Blow. Um, you can counter it in different ways. Maybe also with the Vegeta if you have your unison on the board. I even ended up having having I think a maximum of 2 of these on the board, which is even bigger lock. I decided to go with Secret Identity Max Saiyan 2 copies because it's super efficient to clean the board. Let's say your opponent tries to play something, it ends up being in rest mode, he's unable to attack with it, and in that turn, and then next turn you just wipe it off the board if it doesn't have barrier. If it has barrier, maybe you use Vegeta's final flash on it and then wipe it off the board. So it's useful in so many ways, and you always want to see at least one in every game. Poutine, no explanation needed. You absolutely need 2 because it comes in for free when you tap something, and you end up tapping something. So and then your opponent really has to be careful. But you also have to remember to trigger it because it triggers on the first card played with the skill in that turn, or on the first counter played in that specific turn. Frieza, Divine Transformation. I think I didn't play it at all at this tournament. I included it because it's a 1 card, it's a 1-out that does everything for you. It has a flag, so it will come into play for sure. It can be removed by your opponent's skills. It has double strike. When it comes in, it KOs everything in rest mode that your opponent has on the field, but battle cards, of course. And it has an even big second effect, actually can lock your opponent. I didn't use it in this tournament, but I think I will keep it in my deck anyway, just for future matches. I'll tell you a bit later how I could have used it. Actually, I'll tell you right now. Well, I could have waited against certain decks, like let's say Sin Shenron, while they are attacking me, and then when they have everything in rest mode, I could have just played that on turn 5 instead of trying to finish the game by attacking. But that's, maybe I'll tell you a bit more when I'm going through my matchups. Swift Retaliation Cooler, always good to play 1 in the main. You always need to negate something, especially good against green. Celzino, no explanation needed. I was able to win a few games with it this tournament. One time even playing on turn 4, playing him while having my opponent locked out because he couldn't play couldn't play extra cards because of the Son Goku Absolute Annihilation. So he came in. So I had to arrive. Let's say arrival 2 Bergamos in the same turn, so paying 4 energy, playing Universe 9 Assemble for life, taking the Chapil out of my deck. So, and that's 12 basically, 2 Bergamos, and this Celzino comes in for successor 12 and comes and actually swings, and there was no way that my opponent could defend that 1 attack because he couldn't negate it. So and I comboed my whole hand, and that was in a mirror match. Son Gohan, Changing History, one of them for sure against blue. I didn't play against blue, but still a good card to include in any yellow deck that can search for it with Planet Vegeta. 3 Vegeta Unison of Fury, because that's the best I think unison that you can play in this deck. It really helps you when you want to make sure that your opponent will not be able to swing with battle cards that cost more than their energy. So especially efficient against Dark Broly, Red Broly. Well, you can even use it in the mirror just to make sure that they will not be able to Celzino your next turn. Especially good against Sin Shenron as well. And then I come to Son Goku Absolute Annihilation, which I think is the absolute winner for me in this tournament, because I won so many games by just locking out my opponent with this card. They don't expect it. They don't know how to remove it from the field. They don't have any ways. In the mirror match, they can remove it by Vegeta final flashing it and then removing it somehow, but it didn't happen. So I was actually utilizing it pretty well in this tournament, because they can't play negates. They can't, and if they can't negate your attack, you just go in with everything. Vegeta Powerful Transformation, I like to keep it at 2. It wasn't that useful, but when I wanted to play it, I usually was able to play it, either because of the unison, or if I had 3 energy open, then just tap 3. Well, why not? Or charge it if you don't need it, whatever. One Counterblast on Gohan, an amazing card. You search it if you don't have anything to do with your first energy in the game. So search it with Vegeta. You can always use it to just super combo and draw a card, or if there is a big drop on the field, you just combo it on your turn, of course, and you kill something with cost 5 or less in rest mode. I play 2 Basil, Fatal Rampage. I don't have the third. I think I would play the third as well. I would do a split with 3 Trapil and 3 Basil. But 4 and 2 is still good, so I think I'll continue playing it like that. And one Final Spirit Cannon. This card I think won me at least 2 games this last weekend, because no one expects it. You have like 3 life, and you just take a life, tap your opponent out, rival the Bergamo, or do something else, and just go for the final swings. So this is the main deck. Shortly through the side deck, and then I'm gonna talk about the matchups. Side deck to max power Kamehameha against so many of these high drops being played below your opponent's energy. Was efficient against Sin Shenron, for example. It would be better if I saw more of them, but well. Pechikabura against anything basically. Koitsukai against Launch, or any other deck that can spam you different cards on your turn, basically arrival stuff. The Pro Black Mass saying good against a lot of things in the meta. Anything that can take like small drops that take other small drops from the deck. You need at least 2 or 3 of these. I play 2 because I can always search it with Planet Vegeta. I play 2 release from Yule because of Gohan, because of Red Broly, because of many other combinations that your opponent can just swing with something and expecting to get something out of their effects until the end of the turn. It removes triple strike, it removes triple attack. It's just a good card of itself, and you can basically play it for free if you take a life. Justice Blast for the mirror match to destroy my opponent's Lord Slug. That's tapped, or let's say the Son Goku Absolute Annihilation if I'm able to tap it. 1 extra tyrannical blow against Red Broly against Launch. 1 extra Swift Retaliation Cooler against Green mostly. Or if I run into Invoker. Mechikabura, good against anything that goes long. And of course Fury Dark Banisher to stop the Dark Broly's leader effect, so he cannot efficiently combo. So that's the main. My matchups were, I played against almost all the guys I played against were actually people I know, or even friends. So I played the first game against Wim from Belgium and his Launch. The first game was actually on stream. So I won the first game, going through a lot of tapping of his battle cards and finishing the first game in, I think, 30 minutes. And then the second game took a bit longer, but I was able to tap him out efficiently and survive until the last turn, where he arrived to 2 Gojitas in play from the expansion packs, and I forgot, and he also forgot that he cannot do that. He cannot do 2 Gojitas in the same turn. But I think that even if he didn't do that, I think he would even because he rivaled the Goku from Drive Box 6, and then he kicked my ass with that. So he was able to win that match. So we basically drew. But Launch is a very good matchup for this deck, because they have so many battle cards that you just end up tapping, and Poutine does miracles in that game, and you just have to be careful to save your Nimbus. You have to be careful to save that tyrannical blow for Piccolo, the Eradicator of Peace. And that's how you win that matchup. Then I played against Red Gogeta. Nothing special to talk about in that matchup, because they often tap out, and then you can just swing. You have to remember to Vegeta Final Flash the Gogeta that comes into play, just to make sure that he cannot X-evolve over it. Or you have to be able to remove it from the field the next turn after it comes into play with for example, with your Mass Saiyan, because you don't want him building up. He will always be able to draw cards, and they play extra cards, they play a lot of stuff, but if they don't play the I can't remember the name of the card, Violent Rays. If they don't play that, you're kind of safe as well. But it's an easy matchup. And then I played against two Mecha Friezas in a row. One of them was against Anthony from the UK, an amazing player, also a guy that I respect, and I mean the way he played the deck, we ended up ended up winning 2-1. So I had him I think the first game, and he won the second game, and then I finished the third game by basically locking out with some Goku Absolute Annihilation. He also had the same thing, but so we were locking each other. But I somehow ended up winning. I think I won one game with Kai, so going up for a double strike. There were just so many different interactions, and I remember being very tough. But you just have to be patient. You also have to be careful that he doesn't still Zeno you. But even if he does try, having at least 2 Nimbus in hand will save you in that game. So you just have to grind it out. The second game, second Mecha Frieza was against Daniel from Germany, a guy who I know from Frankfurt. 2 years ago, it was a lot of fun to play against him. And so especially shout outs to all the players that I played against with. But against Daniel, I was able to sell Zeno him in game 1, and that's the Super Gamma and Shapil play, while having Goku on the field to lock him out. But he tried to do the same thing to me, also on turn 4 in game 2, but he successored his Goku. So he forgot about that, that he needs him on the field to lock me out. And then, because I was at 4 life, I just played the Nimbus on his swing, and then took a life, and that was it. The next turn, I won. I swung and I won. So I didn't mind the cell being in play, because he was still locked out. And then I think the most exciting part of the whole day was, apart from winning two mirror matches, was actually playing in my 5th round against Sin Shenron, a very nice Dutch player, a very good player, Roy, and shout outs to Roy. He made it top 4 eventually, and so congrats on that. But he is the best, I think, Sin Shenron player that I've ever played against. And I thought that Sin Shenron would not be that difficult to play against. But he made the deck so well. I think he told me that he was practicing for like 3 months, just perfecting the deck, and he surely did that. What he did is he was using basically all the new cards, even the TP promos, all the big Shenrons, and he of course plays also, I think, 4 Nimbus. He plays the Master Super combo. So he was also tapping me out in many occasions. And the way he played the deck, he had many barrier blockers, and I think I played the first game making sure that we don't get to turn 5. Sorry, that he doesn't get to turn 6, because then he can just play out all of his Shenrons, and but I still have to defend with the Nimbuses the turns before, because he had a big board. He had at least three battle cards on the field, which I could not remove in the first game because I didn't have the Kamehamehas, and I couldn't really swing into 30Ks that easily. So I was trying to go for his life, but it wasn't a good idea. I should have waited. So I lost 2 games, so he won 2-0, and then it was the end of Swizz, and I was surprised to be in top 8, and I was thinking, who am I going to be paired against? And, well, I got paired against the same player, so Roy again. So I was thinking, well, like, there's no way that I'm allowing myself that I lose another 2 games. But that's exactly what happened. So he won 2-0 again. I was thinking, well, I'll try to play slower this time. I'll try to sell Zeno him on my turn 5, but it just wasn't possible. I think I went in the first game. I went too quickly in, and then he was able to defend, and I think he still Zenoed me. So that's how he won the first game. And then the second game, at the end I showed that I played everything right, but he outcomboed my final swing for 5k. And he got that 5k because he restanded one of his blockers, and that was his last 5k. to defend. So I locked him out. The idea was that I have two Shapills on the field. That's what happened in the last game in Top Cut. So I had two Shapills on the board. I had a Goku Absolute Annihilation. He was, I think he was tapped out or about to be tapped out, and I negated his attack with my coolers the 2 turns before. So I had also 2 coolers on the board, which he didn't remove. So I had 5 swings, I think a leader swing and a unison swing and something like that, and I still was missing freaking 5k. And he won, so he made it to top 4. I ended up finishing. Well, I finished Swizz on this place on number 7, and then so the top 8. This being my top 8 deck profile. I want to say that this deck is super amazing, but I wouldn't have been able to build it myself without advice from my lookout team, my guys from Croatia, my guys from Belgium as well. So thank you guys for making sure that I can prepare to this tournament, that you've tested with me as much as I wanted, and I'm gonna be happy to bring this deck into the PPG Invitational that will happen in March. Thanks again to all the organizers, Renee, TCG Collectibles, the commentators Scott, Melvin, London Players Guild, Senzu Pop. You guys are amazing. Thanks to everybody who was supporting me, and well, if you have any questions, drop them down in the chat below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels, because we're going to be making more of these. And I'm happy to do another report after the PPG event. So, well, yeah, once again, thank you guys, and big ups.